right. What's up? What's up? It's your girl, your host and favorite author, FM Ellis, and we are here with another episode of The Block. So without further ado, we're going to get right into it. So today's show is titled, Should Your Partner Want or Need You? Mm-hmm. So look at the ums around the room. Look yes. Around the room. Mm-hmm. Welcome to the block. So I'm gonna tell you how this topic came about. A friend of mine called me. This was last year. I'm in a car and she said, I want to ask you a question. And she posed that same question to me. And she said, the reason I'm asking is because on our morning show in her city, the DJs got into a huge dispute over whether they prefer their partner to need or want them. Okay. And from my recollection, I believe all the points, even including her, she wanted her person to need her. Mm-hmm. And so I listened for about 4 or 5 minutes while she was talking, didn't interrupt. And she's like, so what do you think? I said, well, to be very transparent, I don't want any man to need me. Mm-hmm. I want my boo to want me. Mm-hmm. I want him to want me. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to explain why. I gave her reasons, and dang, they were so good back then. If I knew I was going to do a show, I would have recorded it. But I want to explain the difference between a want and a need. Mm-hmm. So a want is have a desire to possess or do something, wish for. A need is a required something because it is essential or very important, expressing necessity or obligation. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Now, although relationships, they will be interchangeable. Mm-hmm. You get into a relationship hopefully because you wanted to. Mm-hmm. Hopefully you hear a lot of people back in the day, they married somebody because they were pregnant. That's not like
I got necessity, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Obligation.
Right, yeah.
These are all bad words for me in a relationship. Yeah. I don't want you to feel obligated. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? I want you to have I like words like desire, wish, dream.
Yeah,
I
like that. Yeah.
Because all the need is the baseline. It's going to be there. Mm-hmm. Yeah. We need human interaction. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But I don't want you to need me for anything. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. Before we get started, because I can stop on this one because I didn't pose a real question.
Right.
Mm-hmm. I want you all to give a quick snippet of who you are, so people can understand where you're coming from, and you can also state whether or not you're in a relationship. Ooh, me, I'm not.
Okay. All right.
Let's get to it. We'll do ladies first. We'll go
ladies first.
Okay. Right. Well, hey everyone. My name is Nicole. I am a tech professional. I am a lover. I'm an overthinker as well. And for me, I am in a situationship. And a lot of y'all know what that is. It's a long situationship. Yeah, I got a man, but I don't know sometimes, yeah.
This will be seen.
And that's okay. He knows what it is. He knows. Okay.
Hey everyone, my name is Miranda. I am also a tech professional in sales, and I'm originally a Washingtonian. I'm from Washington, D.C. I am not in a relationship that kind of passed on about a year ago. Okay. But I'm in a place right now where I am focusing on myself and understanding who Miranda is, what Miranda wants, what Miranda needs, what Miranda desires, all the things. And I feel really great to be in this space. And I'm very happy, and I'm choosing myself selfishly for a reason.
I love it.
Okay,
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, I am Nelson. I am a trainer, health coach, wellness coach, thriving author as well. And I'm a very mindful thinker. Mm-hmm. I always like to kind of think about how to respond to something before, because I like to keep my emotions in check. Mm-hmm. I am not in a relationship, although there are some people who think they're in a relationship with me.
Oh, okay.
No, I'm joking. That's a joke.
That's another show.
A joke.
Yikes.
That's a joke. Truth and a joke. No, but yeah, and that's who I am. So I'm always one who's like, even when you pose that question, I thought about it instantly. and had a response that I kept to myself until it's my turn to respond.
Well, go ahead. We're gonna let you go ahead, and we're gonna go back around. We're gonna bring it back around this way.
Okay. So, should a person want or need?
No. Do you want your person to want
my
or
person
need
to
you? So
want
let's
or
make
need
it
me?
take ownership
Because
of it.
I could be someone else's person as well. I think it's a combination. You know, I really do. I think, yes, you want them to want to spend time with you. You want them to want to grow with you. But then sometimes there are some needs as well. So I think it becomes a balancing act. Where do I need you? Well, I need you to be open-minded. I need you to feel, you know, that we're going to be committed to. I need you to have those type of feelings. I want you to want to do some things with me and what's enjoy. But it's a combination, in my opinion. Yes, I think, you know, the older we get, you know, somebody might need you to change your diaper or something. You know, you think it was a geriatric or something. Girl, I need you to change my diaper. So, you know, but then you think about that, you know, people talk about that nurse and purse and all that other stuff. But I do think it's a combination, but it really takes some serious communication so people can kind of understand where each other's coming from as you continue to grow in a relationship.
Yeah.
Okay, I respect that. I'm not gonna say anything to everybody going on.
Yeah, I would actually have to agree. You know, I think that when we think of percentages in relationships, you know, when it comes to the need and the want, I feel like depending on the relationship that you're in and, you know, personalities and the communication factor, I do think that it's important to be open and honest about, you know, just your needs and what you're looking for in the relationship. And I think that kind of will also determine, you know, what you need and what you want. And so for me, I would have to agree that I think it should be some sort of a balance between the two. I know for myself, I'm a very independent woman, and I know right off the bat, like I tend not to need a man, you know, just frankly speaking, but I also feel, you know, because I think just also the way that I grew up, I was always taught, you know, always make sure that you have what you need as a woman and not to always have to rely on somebody else, because what if that thing or that relationship goes by the wayside? Who are you going to rely on? And so I feel like I need myself and I want him, you know, I want the man or I want the person, my partner or whatever. So that's just my thought process, and that's not to shun any man that I'm with or make it seem as if, you know, I don't need them or I'm not wanting them wholeheartedly. That makes sense. I just, you know, I'm at a different place in my life right now, and I just, you know, would hope as my partner or as my companion that you can respect that.
I love that. All right, so I think I have a slightly different view. So yeah.
I love it.
So Faye, I really like the word that you use, desire. I want my man, my person, to desire me. I want him to long for me and want me deeply. And with that, when he wants me enough, all of my needs are met.
That's what I'm saying.
You know what I'm saying? The needs already
Already
met.
of your
Right.
is my
That's
needs
the
are being
result.
fulfilled.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly, right? So that's where I'm out on things. And I just feel like when you need me, now you're dependent on me, right? And I love that you started with the definition. It's like, you know, you need water and you need air to live and thrive. But I don't ever want to be that person's resource for them to, you know, be okay. And because that's toxic. That can lead to, you know, some toxic
100%.
relationships, right? And so I'm all about, no, just want me, you know, but you're your own person. Give me the love that I need and deserve. That all is just going to come with the territory. So that's where I'm at.
I love all the responses.
Yeah.
I love it. I definitely, just at this stage in my life, I'm thinking about, I want you all to take the word need and think about the things that you need. And then think about the things that you want. And think about the vigor, the planning, the energy. Where does that all go? Where does it go? Does it go to the need or to the want?
That's a good question.
That is a good
Typically goes to the want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good question.
We
Yeah.
want a new outfit.
Mm-hmm.
We want a vacation in Dubai.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
We want to go to the Beyonce concert. You see what I'm saying? We
Yep.
do. We overspend.
Yep.
Right.
We cheat on our good relationships. You don't need multiple sexual partners. You want multiple sexual partners. You don't need to spend $10,000 on a trip. You want to spend $10,000 on a trip. All the things that we really, the way we move about in our lives, you know what I'm saying? Most of our decision is around our wants. The
Right.
energy that we spend on trying to rob Peter to pay Paul or move this over here is not because we're trying to get air, water, shelter, clothing. Because most of us at this table and who are listening have those things taken care of. The first level of the pyramid has taken care of our basic needs:
Right.
food, shelter, clothing. But that third level, when it comes to acceptance, where people want you, that's a little tough. And we somehow merge the two,
Yeah.
but they are separate. A child needs a parent, right?
Yeah.
It becomes toxic once that parent no longer understands that the child does not need them in the manner that they once did.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't want to be the man that I need. I should definitely, like you said, to your point, be able to pay my own bills.
Yeah.
You know, by that, what I say, 1 in 5, first class, 5-star.
Yeah.
Myself,
Exactly.
right?
Right.
Yes.
I love that.
And I want someone who can keep that energy going,
Yeah.
Yep.
right?
Right.
But I can survive. I can still get to the trip without the 1 in 5, right? Without him, I need to be. I would want that
Right.
if I'm gonna.
Yeah.
It's
Be
a
with
nice.
somebody.
It's nice to have.
It's a nice
Yeah.
to have. It's like
Right.
So also, what I just been on social media, and I'm hearing the toxicity when it comes to relationships, more particularly Black relationships. And it really seems like the argument is about what you don't do or what you do. That's all need based. It's all, we have somehow become a transactional people.
Oh,
yeah.
That's
You
a
know what
good
I'm
one.
saying?
Yeah.
And so you never really get to your desire of wanting a person unless they meet your transactional
Yeah.
goals.
Yeah.
So the bare essence of having a need in a relationship, unless it's caregiver, you know, employer, employee.
Right. Yeah.
How many people like their employer, but they're there because they need something from them?
Right. Exactly.
An employer put up with you coming in later taking PTO because they need something from you. It's transactional.
It is
Yes.
transactional.
Yep.
Yeah.
Very much.
But at this age, my kids, I'm an empty nester, and I would like to be in a relationship where this mofo literally
This
was,
mofo.
he don't want to be any place else in the world but with his girl.
Right. Yeah.
You know, it's like trumpets and horns when he walk in the room.
Right. Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah.
Because if my needs are, because like what the point you was making, if there is a want, the needs are going to get taken
There
care
it is.
of.
Yeah.
Right.
You know.
That's true.
So I just wanted you all to think about that. So in the intricate dynamics of a romantic relationship, a crucial question, it often arises. Would you rather your partner want or need you? And when I heard my friend say that she had these definitive answers about needing, I kind of thought about it from her point of view. She's around my age and she has a younger daughter. So the most important relationships to her right now, they need her. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And when people need you, you also get something from that. You're
Yeah.
dependent. You're
Yeah,
in control.
that's
You're more.
right.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You
Yeah, I
feel
hear you.
wanted,
Yeah.
but it's not a want. They need you.
Right.
And I would hope that she could sit with herself and separate the relationship of a parent and a child, and a parent and a child, because of course now we're taking care of our parents in some aspects, and
Yeah.
your partner and you.
Yeah.
That's a want. These other ones are need relationships.
You know, as you were saying, I was thinking about my daughter, right? I have a 21-year-old daughter in California, and I tell her in relationships, I said, Maya, do not be with a guy who you need, who's like guy wants to take out to dinner. He's paying for dinner. He's sending you money. I said, do not do that, because when a person, in my opinion, when a person feels that control that they have over you, that you need them, there are other things, there are other expectations that come along with being needed. But that person is a control thing. Once they control you, oh, you need me, you need me to do this, then say, oh, well, there's a price to pay when you are 100% needing someone else. So I tell my daughter all the time, honey, if you need anything, you come to your daddy.
That part.
Right,
That
because
part
it's just a need relationship.
Yes, because daddy's going to take care of you, and daddy don't have any expectation of you just being my daughter and I love you. Because a person who feels like that you have to need them, they may not really love you because you need them. It's a control thing.
It's
If
only a control thing,
someone feels like, oh, they need me.
Right.
So I think to keep your control, to keep your balance, you gotta say, no, I want you. I don't need you. There's a difference, you know. So, I had an experience with that. I dated a girl who was used to dating men that needed her. So she would talk to them in a toxic way. And when she met me, I said, wait a minute, girl. You can't talk to me like that. I said, I probably make more money than you. You know what I'm saying? Because she was like, well, that's just who I am. I said, well, I'm the wrong guy. You know, so I had to I said, you're dismissed. You know,
I love to dismiss.
And you know
Yeah.
what?
Class is over.
I was also going to add to that. I think that's an interesting point, and I was also going to say, you know, with the control factor, I think it's also some insecurity. And I know we've had a conversation around this yesterday, basically. And I think that there's some insecurity that kind of comes in there. You know, when they think they need to always be in control and always kind of have the upper hand. You're supplementing for something else that you're lacking.
Exactly.
You know,
It's a
and
lack
so I
of a
think
lack,
that that definitely plays a role in it. And you know, in relationships that, you know, with some girlfriends, I've seen that. And it's just, I think it takes a strong mind, a strong person to understand who they really are as a person, you know, within themselves, and being self-aware. And I don't think enough of that is done in relationships, because they're not at a level where, you know, they're not at a deeper level where they can have open, honest, and very mature conversations about that. So I think that the insecurity piece definitely plays a role in a lot of the need and the want, because a lot of people, they don't really know the difference between the two. And kind of going back to Nicole's point and your point about stating the definition first, I think that that's really important, because a lot of people just don't know what
They
that
think
is.
it's interchangeable.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
It's really not.
Exactly. Yeah.
I would like you all to think about movies, because I think a lot of this perception of when you hear songs, baby, I need you, baby, I love you. And then, you know, you see the toxic relationships where I need you, you know what I'm saying? I just, you know, you had me at hello and all of these, like it's a desperation. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And Hollywood make that look sexy. And it also almost have the blurred line of when someone is almost abusive.
There you go.
Yeah.
You know,
exactly.
that he loves me because that's why he hits me. He's so controlling. He wants to know every place I am. You know, we've seen it play out. So it is this. Our culture has made it okay for people to use the word interchangeably with want and need, but it is two different things. If someone say they need you, that's probably a red flag.
Yeah.
You know, so movies. To me, a want movie looks like The Notebook. A want movie looks like Love and Basketball or Love Jones. A need movie looks like Casino, Robert De Niro and Sharon Stone. Even though it looked like he loved her, he was very toxic.
No, he was
very controlling. And What's Love Got to Do with? Of course, that's a need look like movie. It's very scary. So I'm just saying, it plays out in a movie, and people think they're just observing a movie, and then they'll make their little comments. It's like, but you're living the same relationship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And this is for women and men, because women get it twisted as well too. They become controlling and desperate, and you know, they need validation from this person, and you need to be sexualized in order to feel like you matter, and we just need to watch ourselves when it comes to that. I'm sorry, I cut somebody off. Was it you or?
I was finished my thought.
You were good. So, but yeah, like I was saying, they want and need represent fundamentally different aspects of relationship, and understanding the difference and their implications can profoundly impact the quality and the health of a partnership.
Yeah, I want to something just came to mind for me. So you talked about the Black community, and just thinking, like, as a Black woman, we have been trained to be the providers, right? We're the caretakers. And I think...
Give my daughter this college grant so she don't need no man, right? Spending our rap songs.
Yeah.
And then it's like you tell us to be this person, and then you hate when we are this person.
Right.
When
Exactly.
you are the people who raised this person. But go ahead, I'm sorry.
Right. So it's like we're supposed to just cater and give so much of ourselves and really not get anything in return, but that's another show, I'm sure. And so with
You're
that...
getting what you give.
Right. And so I think with that comes, now I feel needed, right? And that kind of going to your point, like, it makes me feel validated as the provider, right?
I hope you all are enjoying the show thus far. Now, have you ever thought about being a part of the Block community? I know you have already subscribed and you're a resident on the Block, but would you like to come in person and record on the show? We do film in Atlanta, Georgia, so if you're here for a wedding or an event, or if you live in the Atlanta area, just drop the words "The Block" in the comments below, and myself or one of my staffers will reach out with further details so we can get you booked onto the Block. If that doesn't work for you, feel free to reach out to me at info@fmls.com, and we'll do the same follow-up process and get you on the show. Now, you got something to say, and we want to hear it. Back to the show.
And if my man leaves me and I'm just doing all of these things, now I feel less than, right? I don't have anybody to take care of in a way.
You don't have anybody to appreciate your greatness.
Appreciate my greatness.
I mean,
right?
all this money I'm making, what I do and how I lay out and how I cook and no one's here to witness it.
Exactly. So I think that's an issue as well. I will fully admit that. That's some toxic behavior as well. And then even, when that person leaves, you're trying to fight for them to stay. You're trying to, hold on to it. And then going back to the analogy, food, air, water, what happens when we start to run out of those things? We get into fight or flight mode, right?
Yeah.
It's like, okay, now I gotta go. If I'm hungry,
survival.
it is survival, to your point, right? Now I gotta go out and kill something. Or, all of a sudden I'm a whole different person. Behaviors like I never thought I would do, right? And that leads into the relationship as well.
Facts.
Yeah, no, that's a good point.
Yeah.
I love it. So let's dive into what it means for what can you do if you find yourself on the wrong end of a want-need relationship? Any suggestions? Okay, let me ask you all. You're the one who said you identified as being in a situationship.
I'm in a relationship, yeah.
But you did just kind of answer the questions. You feel like it's still maybe kind of like a need-based relationship, or do you feel like it's a want-based relationship? And I love the person who you will be speaking about. That has nothing to do with it. That has nothing to do with it. This is all about your own self. Transparency if you choose.
No, absolutely. I'm fully transparent. So I think it goes back, day by day. Sometimes it can be need. So that analogy that I was giving y'all, I'm that person. Sometimes I just love taking care of people.
Right.
And y'all know
And if
this.
you know what she does.
I do. I just love taking care of people. But I don't know, for me, I don't think it's an element of I want you to need me. I just want you to feel like loved, that's the love language for me.
Yeah.
So there's that. I would say today, if you were to ask me, Faye, it's a want. I do want him, and I know that he wants me. Do I feel that it's strong enough? No, I want it stronger.
Like a desire.
I want more. I want a deep desire, and that's I don't know.
Do you have any idea how to pivot? Because my goal is not to break up your relationships with her. Now, of course, if anything is toxic and you feel depressed, you know in your belly. It's
absolutely.
If it can be saved, it can be salvaged.
Right.
Through therapy, through prayer,
absolutely.
through effective communication, absolutely work on it.
Yeah.
We are meant to be in community. And
that's right.
But any suggestions, how would you turn it around so it's more of a desire than just, we really, really, really like each other?
Yeah. The first thing is communication, right? So it is necessary for you to communicate your feelings and how you're feeling in the relationship, and maybe something is lacking. Maybe there is something that person can be doing to showcase their love for you, right? And if they really do want you and they love you, they're going to make some adjustments, right? It's communication. And then also, okay, I've told you what it is, listen to them. Maybe Don't think you're perfect. Maybe you're not doing something.
that is true.
So give them the space to also communicate, what some of the issues are, and don't just listen, but do it.
Yeah.
If you want them and love them enough, start doing those things and making those adjustments. It's really
while you're in the relationship, not after I have to leave your ass.
right. Don't
then
try to
that's
come
called
back and fix it
narcissism.
now.
That's
is very much narcissism.
Yeah, narcissism is real.
Right,
narcissism.
don't do
And I
that.
think
Right.
that
Like if you start
It's too
acting right
late.
only after being punished,
right.
Right. It
no
is
ma'am, no sir.
far
And I
too
mean,
late.
I also kind of wanted to add in there. It goes back to like the self-awareness piece, right? Like if you are not self-aware of who you are and your flaws and all the things like that, you're gonna constantly kind of point the finger at the next person and make it seem as if they're the victim or they're in the wrong.
Yeah.
But it's like, well, you need to take a look at the man or woman in the mirror. What are
That's
you
where it
doing,
starts, yeah.
right? And you need to kind of do some self-reflecting on who you are as a person and what you're kind of projecting on the other person, right? And I think that would really answer a lot of the questions as to why maybe this relationship isn't working, or why am I not needing her or him? Why am I not wanting him or her? I think it really is about, in my opinion, about self-awareness. And I think as we get older and we become more mature, we're able to, hopefully, exactly. Good point.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. That part,
Yes.
right? Yes. As we become more mature, hopefully that happens. Hopefully we're able to kind of, dive into ourselves and kind of figure that out. But I don't know. Like when I get to know people, I really do. I don't want to say like an assessment, if you will, but I just ask them questions. Just have real conversation, and that kind of helps me answer some questions.
Are
that I
you
need to
surprised
know
how
about.
people don't have answers to a lot of your questions?
Yes, and I think again it's because they're not doing enough. I don't want to say
Work on
alone time, but
themselves.
work on themselves. And I think a lot of people are so conditioned to jump into these relationships and not really knowing what they want as a person.
Right.
And I feel like that also is a detriment to the relationship, because how can you love or want somebody else when you don't even love or want or need your own self?
Yep.
You know what I
Right.
mean?
There you go.
And that's not about being selfish or not self-centered. It's just being self-aware.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I
right,
mean?
Right.
So, I think we as a people, before we even jump into these relationships, absolutely need to do the homework of figuring out who we are, so then that way we can perform better in the relationship.
Yeah.
That's just.
And I want to add,
Expectations.
I want to add exactly that. I think, because you said in a relationship, I heard you say that, because one thing about me, I pay attention to everything. I can't help it, pay attention to everything. But I think it begins before you're in a relationship.
Yes.
Where you set that expectation. When you're getting to know Jim, Bob, or whoever he is, you set that expectation. Hey, what is it you would like to have in a relationship?
Exactly.
And if you set that expectation up front, I think you can squash a lot of that need one thing, because you set yourself up to be like on the same table, on the same page in the relationship as it's growing. And then you got to take your egos out of it. A lot of times people, when they be, well, I'm this, I'm that, or I had this experience growing up. I told someone, you know what, you may have had experience growing up with your mommy and daddy, but I didn't have that experience with your mommy and daddy.
Right.
My
Yes.
experience was different.
Bring it home.
Yeah, so let me tell you about my experience, and for our relationship, we can't compare it to what you had with mommy and daddy and what I had with mommy and daddy. Let's establish our own relationship, our own expectations. What do we want from a relationship? And then let's squash some of the things that you don't want, or I don't want, or you don't need, or I don't need. And then, as the relationship progresses, maybe some of those needs, there's a balancing act that's created and everything. And I just think too many times that people, they rush into it.
Yeah.
They have their own mindset about who they are, what they want, and they're not willing to negotiate that for
They
someone
might
else.
not even have that. They might not even have.
Right,
They didn't
right.
even do the work.
Right,
They're just
right.
hopping into it.
Yeah, and a lot sometimes they bring that baggage from that old relationship into
Yep.
the new one.
Not sometimes.
And that person, that person, I'm like,
baggage is
I'm
always
innocent.
there.
Always
Yeah.
there. Yeah.
Yeah. But it does take that communication and setting that expectation, I believe, up front, and what each of you want and desire for that relationship, and then you just take it from there, because we all are flawed. I always tell
Exactly.
people I'm shamelessly flawed, yet
Yes.
perfectly made.
Yes. You better come on. Come on. Yes.
I
Don't
love
get
that.
church going up in here.
Right.
That's great.
So let me ask you all this, devil's advocate. Sorry, that's the seat I'm sitting in right now. So do you do that when you're dating?
Yes.
And most importantly,
Yes.
do you do that with friends? Because those are big relationships in our lives as well, too. And a lot of those are, they are more anchors than engines, baby.
That part.
Everybody can't handle the truth, though. So, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You got a lot
So
of
what
people.
do you do when you have a person who can't handle the truth, especially if it's a relative? Because once again, all those, even your intimate relationships are going to be affected by all the other relationships you have going on. So if you could have the perfect relationship, set boundaries, but if you haven't had that conversation with your mom,
Right.
with your dad, with your brother, with your kids, with your best friends, then it can infect
Yes.
the
You're
one that
absolutely
you
right.
are. You
You
know
are
what I'm
absolutely
saying?
right.
There-
You are
so
absolutely right.
it's great
Yeah.
to talk about our intimate relationships, but are we addressing this just in our lives, period?
Sometimes those are more difficult.
Yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah, a lot of times they are.
Right.
Yeah, 'cause they're gonna be there.
Right. Exactly.
But they don't necessarily have to be there, because I have a belief. I don't control anything anybody else says. And I shared this with you. I don't control nothing you do, nothing you say. But I control 100% of what I do and what I say. So if you're not in line with how I feel about myself, how I feel about a relationship, I'm easy. I can I can love you from a distance.
That part.
I don't have to be. You may be my cousin or my brother or my
The
sister.
commitment shifts.
Yeah. I can love you from a distance. I can be cordial with you, but I'm not going to continue to seek a deeper relationship with you because you're not ready. And if you're not ready, I can't make you be ready. So I'm just going to step aside, step back, especially in family relationship. Now, in a personal relationship, you're dismissed.
There you go. Teacher, class.
And I don't say you're dismissed,
Yeah,
because
but
that's kind of
that's your
cold.
energy.
But in my mind, it's like, you know what, this ain't gonna work. So,
Right. Right.
I am a strong advocate for loving from a distance when it comes to your
I
family
love the
members.
Yes.
love from a distance. I am so
Strong. If you
Yep.
need me for anything, and I mean anything, I am here for you. But if I know, you have to take care of yourself first. And I like what you said. You have to be self-aware and a little selfish sometimes. Like if that person in your family is creating a toxic environment from you, or just wearing you out, emotionally draining, you gotta just love from a distance.
Yeah.
And I'm okay with that. And I know that might be controversial,
No, it's
but
true.
I will always be here for that family member or family members sometimes. But I have to love you from a distance.
Exactly.
So
Yep.
you gotta
Yeah.
take care of yourself.
And I would just also wanted to add, like, I think you might have mentioned it, but just being transparent. Like, you know what, this is what I need in my life, and it seems like this is what you need in your life, and maybe this is just not our time, and that's okay. You know, like, that's okay. You know, because in due time, if it's meant to be, it will be. Meaning
Right.
friends or intimate, I guess, relationships. So I think it's just, you really just kind of have to understand where each person is, I guess, in the situation, and then, take it from there.
So let me ask you, if you're not in a relationship, but are you out, like, do you go on dates? Do you have men travel? Obviously, you're a beautiful woman. You have men coming after you to go, even if they say, let me
course
just
you
take you
do.
out for a drink or date.
She gonna have some after this video right here.
More to come on the next
More
show.
to come.
So how do you, for people out
my
there
goodness.
listening, how do you start that conversation without sounding like act like a woman, think like a man? How do you have that conversation?
Well, to answer the first question, no, I'm not dating.
Okay.
I mean, because like I said, I got out of a relationship about a year ago, and seriously, guys, like, I'm focusing on myself.
I love
and
it.
like I really haven't even put any time and effort into dating. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's just not
Because
something
it does
that
take time and effort.
It does. And kind of everything that everyone's saying here today at the table, it's making me realize, like, am I ready to get back into that? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And how am I going to jump into that? So I think for your second question, great question. And I'll be honest, I don't know. And I think that once I am ready to kind of jump back into the dating pool, I need to figure that out. So I need to figure out, like, how am I going to, open up the doors of dating and kind of get to know people and understand what they want, and kind of some of the same questions that you asked earlier. But, like, I just don't know how I'm going to do that yet. So I'm actually open to hearing.
I mean, me either. I
some
just, the
thoughts
reason I
here.
asked that question, thank you for being so honest and saying
Yeah.
I have no idea, it's because it does sound good in theory.
Yeah.
But we all know we've been out with somebody. We went out a couple of times. We had a couple of drinks. We look up 2 months later. We're sleeping with this person, and we have never. We thought it was just going to be like it is what it is, and now we're catching feelings. We're in a relationship,
Right.
the person asks you to be exclusive, you like them now,
Mm-hmm.
right? You desire them at this point.
Right, yeah.
You need them.
And really what you're desiring is that one side, those drinks
Yeah.
and the sex, because y'all haven't really dived into anything deeper, right? It's a
Right.
good time. And in my situation, I felt like boundaries, because that's what it really is, and the conversations were had too late.
That's right.
Because you didn't set any standards in the beginning. But I know it's somebody out there who knows how, once the train has got off the track, how could you
Right.
put it back as opposed to putting the dog down. These analogies is just killing me right here. Trains and dogs. And,
That dog.
but when you
Word.
wake up and realize that this is crazy, because I'm not blaming the other person, because
Right.
I have to be accountable. Like you said, I control 100% of what I do. Because
Right.
if I didn't set that tempo or standards in the beginning,
Right.
I notice I'm having a conversation during an argument.
Oh, okay.
I'm having a conversation after a disagreement, but at that point, no one's absorbing anything the other person is saying because we also don't know how to argue.
Right. Yeah. Well, that
That's
part too.
interesting. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We're just arguing. We're letting you talk about while we're thinking about what our
What the
rebuttal is.
response is, exactly.
Yeah.
That's not a conversation.
That's not a conversation.
No,
We're not
not
going to
at all.
come to any type of agreement here.
What I'm going to tell you though, ladies, I'm going to tell you the solution.
Oh, this
Oh,
is
let me hear this.
I got it. I got it.
I need to
I
hear
got
Please
it.
speak, Nelson.
I
Right.
got it. Y'all got to take
Wow.
notes.
Do I
on
need to
this.
take some
Gotta
notes?
take
Nelson, not
notes.
Mandela, but Nelson.
The solution is first, know thyself, right?
Self-awareness.
Know who you are first. And then I feel like when y'all meet that person, you gotta have that conversation. You can't be afraid. So I think what I've seen women say what they don't want. I don't want a man who cheats. I don't want a man who ain't got no job. And you're saying too much of what you don't want. And when you say what you don't want, guess what you're doing? You're drawing that energy to you. That person that you don't want, you're drawing him to you. So you got to say, I want a person to be loving and respectful. I want a person going to respect me. I want a person going to care for me. I want a person who wants me and doesn't need me. To yourself first, right? And then when you meet that guy, because guys think differently now. Now, I'm not speaking for all men. I'm only speaking for me. But there are some guys who feel like, if I'm doing this for you, doing that for that, you need me. And this is what I want. I tell women all the time, you just got to first of all, handle your own business. Let that person be open, but ask those important questions up front. Don't be afraid to ask that man, what's relationship look like to you? And let them, because a man gonna tell you.
Right.
He may not know. He's gonna tell you, but you gotta ask those
And
hard
the absence
questions
of
up
an
front.
answer is an answer.
And you
Answers-
also have
yeah.
to actively listen.
You have to
know what I
actively
mean?
listen,
You have
yes.
to really listen to everything that person is saying, because sometimes they get long-winded and they start talking and everything like that, but then I don't know, they might just say something that will trigger you.
Yeah, you're
or,
like, there we go, that one
exactly.
right there.
So you
How
really
did it
have to
make you
actively
feel? How
listen.
did it make you
But
feel?
don't be
listen.
too quick to judge him at that point. He may not
You can
know.
ask more questions.
Yeah, say, hey,
Yeah.
what
Of
did you mean
course.
when you said that?
Exactly.
Right,
Yes.
there you
Dig
go.
a little deeper.
Yes,
Yeah.
dig deeper. And the sooner you dig deeper, the better relationship would be. But if
Yeah.
you don't dig deeper up front and you wake up a month later, you done gave him everything you got, and then you see this guy's not what you thought he was, that's your fault.
No, absolutely.
Yeah, I'm
I
just
take
saying.
100%.
So you got to ask those questions up front. You know what I mean? And make
Yeah.
a man I feel like women should, women have to know that you are the prize. But guess what? That man is the prize too
That's
in
right.
his own mind. So that's why that communication
Yeah.
is so important up front.
Yeah.
I mean, it is. I hate that they don't even teach dating in school.
I know. Yeah.
Like, because it's something we're all going to do.
Or just
We should do
relationship
it.
building. Relationship building.
Yeah.
Yep.
Now, everything that we came for, like the money, the power, the homes, the land, the travel, we good at that, baby. But we never focus on communicating. We never focus on relationship building. We never focus on what marriage should look like.
Right.
Right? Everything
Right.
is about that you do now is to prove something to somebody else.
Yeah.
My
It's
kids go to this.
transactional, like
It's
you said.
transactional.
It is.
Right.
It is.
My
And
kids go to this
that's
school,
terrible.
my kids this and that, they going this and that. But
Right.
you and your kids are a horrible ass group of people.
Wow.
To the
So,
core.
yeah.
To the core.
Because there's a lack of person. You focus on those other things,
You
but you didn't
focus
focus
on the possessions and the
personal
prestige.
growth.
You never focus on the
Personal,
person.
the personal growth part. You have to
Right.
grow that way. If you don't grow that
You
way,
didn't do the inside
you can
work.
have the money
You
and
did
stuff
not do
and
the
everything.
inside
Yeah, it
work.
goes back to
Yeah.
what I was saying about the self-awareness.
Yeah.
You got to do that homework.
You
I
got to.
also want to add in here too, though, a lot of it comes off of what we witnessed in our homes. with our parents,
Mm-hmm.
you know, so I'd be remiss if I did not put that in
No,
the space.
absolutely.
Whether it is you learned that and said, okay, I'm going to imitate it, or you learned it and said, okay, I'm not going to
I'm
do
gonna do the
that.
opposite.
I'm going to do
Right.
the opposite. But that's still not enough.
Right.
And this is a plug for therapy. Some of y'all need therapy.
Yeah.
Right.
Right? I'm in it right now.
Only suggest it's always
Oh, yeah.
it's on this list. It's always a suggestion
Right.
Yeah.
in the block and writer's block group
Yeah.
that therapy, because sometimes you may think something is just an issue, but if it's been an issue for a period of time, you probably need to seek professional
Yeah,
help.
Yes,
absolutely.
agreed.
Because it's
Agreed.
seeping into your other relationships, just like we stated here. And who wants to be toxic, or who wants to get infected with
Right.
toxic?
And in my book, you're winning if you're doing the self-awareness work and the therapy work. Like, you are
To improve
a
yourself.
wealthy person.
Yeah.
Right.
You know,
Yes.
you
Right.
need to improve your person
Yeah.
and highly attractive. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So for people out there, how can you tell if the difference, if you're in a want or need relationship, or if you are a person who gravitates towards wants and needs? Ask yourself if you are primarily interested in offering something to your partner rather than receiving. If your experience and desire for your partner is largely energizing and enlightening rather than depleting and about a fear of loss. Some people are in relationships because they do not want to be alone.
That's
Yeah.
real.
Yeah.
That's
That
real.
is
Just
a
for the
need
sake
relationship.
of
Yeah.
saying I'm married, I have a ring,
Right.
I have a man, I have
Yeah.
kids, you know, but they are so depressed
They're so
in that
miserable.
relationship, and it also it's reflective in who they are, and then, like, to your point, it bleeds into other relationships. You're depressed in your marriage,
Your kids see
and
that too.
and then, you know, our girlfriendship or whatever, you know, it's coming off.
Because you
that
got to
way.
hear about it every time y'all go out to brunch.
I don't want to hear that.
Right. Just trying to enjoy an espresso martini. I don't want to hear about
Wait a
your
minute.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, exactly. So that's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. Like,
Oh, that's funny.
and I think, and that part is tough because, you know, I think we all deserve love. You know what I mean? I really
yes.
do. I
Absolutely.
even though I'm not
100%.
there, I still think that we all definitely deserve love. But I just think that if you're not happy in that love or even joyous in that love, like, why be in it? You know, because
Right.
it's actually doing more harm to you than it is good.
Exactly.
So you're saying that you're in a relationship, you're saying that you're in a marriage, and which is great, you know, but then you're not really fulfilled and you're not joyous and you're not really.
It's depleting you.
It's depleting
It's not
you.
pouring
It's not
into
doing.
you.
It's not pouring into you. So, like, I have some friends that are in those relationships, and it's just like, you know, I don't want to be that judgy friend. It's just like, oh, girl, what you doing, you know? But I'm just like, you know, and maybe in due time, you know, they'll figure it out and do what they got to do. But I hate that for them.
Because
I
time
do.
is our most valuable asset.
It
it's
is.
scary. No one's guaranteed tomorrow. You're like,
Yeah.
dang, I wish she hope
Yeah.
she get it before she can't
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, that's my
Or
hope,
hope
but it's
he
just,
get it
you
before
know,
he can't get it.
it sometimes doesn't always work that way.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
Yeah.
I just
that's a really good point in question.
yeah, and I don't, and you also, I didn't mean to speak over that, like, am I attracting those people? I typically don't go looking for people. And I will say, based on my character, I have shied away from fully committing. I don't know why. That's something I'm working through in relationships. So I tend to, in therapy, so I tend to steer to the relationships that are just one-sided. It's fun.
Listen,
Or it's financial. So it is, you know, it is giving me, pouring into me something,
But not the love.
but not the love. And
so would you
Yeah.
say it's
Deserve that.
transactional?
Yeah.
some of them have been transactional, and the other ones have been a need because you fulfill something that, you know, like maybe we like to party a lot together.
Yeah.
You know, you bring
Yeah.
out that part of me. But then when you sit back and you get real about life, you're like, man, if I was to pass away tomorrow, this fool would be the one sitting in the stands. I don't have anybody to speak for me in that intimate department. I mean, I know I have people that would show up.
That's
my
a
kids'
real way
father.
of looking at it,
It
though.
is.
But it's
Yeah.
I
like,
respect it.
that's I should probably get more serious. So that part, I know that is on me. And I also could just say, no, I don't want to be in a relationship, because sometimes I do.
Right.
A lot of times I let people just sucker me into a relationship.
Okay.
And I just look up and I'm just there.
I'm
You're just
there.
there. But maybe not all there when you're there. Just part of you is there.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So-
But yeah, and that's just coming down to not trusting people that I've seen the worst
Yeah.
in people. And so you just be like, you know, I'm good with it. I'm like that. And
Yeah.
you will lie to yourself as well too and say, I'm good with just this
Yeah.
level of intimacy.
Yeah.
But you are missing out because, and it's a level of fear as well too. And the best of life is on the other side of
Yeah.
fear.
Yeah.
So I know there is more work to be done, and hopefully that little testimony will help someone out there as well too, who's in there like, yeah, I keep dating, you know, such and
Yeah.
such is because they buy me clothes, but they cheat on me, or
Yeah.
they're always married, so they're unavailable. Or, so maybe this will help someone else.
But then it goes back to, like we were saying earlier, it goes back to the energy that you draw. The energy that you put out, the energy that you draw. So if you put out the energy that what you have always received, then you're always going to get that.
Yeah.
That's why I say you got to put out a different energy for what you for what you truly desire, and it will draw itself to you. I mean, some people don't believe that, but I do believe that.
I do believe it. I have definitely in my life had some amazing, amazing guys
Right,
that could definitely have been husband material.
right.
I wasn't ready for that. I know the work that it took I wasn't ready to stop playing.
Right,
Yeah.
right,
I'm
right.
honest with myself, so that's why I'm
Yeah.
not blaming the other person.
Yeah.
I wasn't
Yeah.
ready to stop playing, so I wasn't going to waste that great person's time.
Yeah.
Right.
But this clown over here, I got a little time left.
Right,
to go
that's
around, you
what
know
I'm
what saying?
saying. Yeah.
Let's go and get some drinks. You know what I'm saying? I got some time over
Yeah,
here.
right. I was there for 5 years, y'all. I was single for 5 years and had that same mentality. I was just dating. I called myself a serial dater. Like I was just always out on dates.
Yeah.
You know what? Any dating app that you can think of right now, I
was
was
on
on
it.
it.
Oh, wow.
I was on it.
You
I
was
had
swiping,
the
you was
time
dating, you was all
swiping. I had the time of my life, and I was okay with that. Like I
Yes.
was really self-aware and
It's
knew.
just that season that you like.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I didn't want, and then to your point, Faye, like I had men that were definitely husband material, but I knew I was like, I'm not gonna waste this time.
I'm not
23,
gonna- you're like, I'm not gonna disrespect
No,
him like that,
I'm
yeah.
not ready for that. And
Yeah.
now, you know, I've been in my relationship or situationship for 4 years, and it's you know,
So waitress. So I gotta
you know,
write that
and
down.
I'm happy, and I am, you know, in a place where I'm ready to commit. I don't want to be in these streets anymore. You know, I want to have my person, and that's just what it
Yeah,
is.
these streets
So-
are slaughter, baby. They slaughter.
yeah, they will slaughter you.
Oh.
The last thing that I'll say on that though is you have to be in the relationship that's for you.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
whatever that looks like.
Yes.
What you are in may
point.
not be what somebody else wants.
Yeah.
And
Right.
nobody gets to judge. So
Nobody
as
gets
long
to
as you
judge.
are aware of what that means,
Yeah.
you gotta do,
Do
it.
you.
Yeah, do
Yeah.
you. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I love
And you
it.
set that up front. I mean, again, I go back. I don't sound like I'm repeating myself a lot, but it does. You got to set these things up in the beginning when you first meet that person. And I don't mean in the same day, but as you're having these conversations about what you want or what you need, that has to be expressed. That's the only way you're going to get that person. First of all, to understand you, because they need to understand you and what you want for your life.
Yeah.
And then when you ask those questions, then you're going to understand them. And then you can make it work together. Or you say, you know what, maybe this is not for me. But then you wouldn't have invested a lot of that time otherwise. But I feel like we never waste time. I feel like anytime you have conversation with anybody, time is never wasted. It's always an opportunity to learn something from whatever experience you had.
Yes.
And then you just make sure you don't repeat that. You know?
That
So-
part.
Yeah.
Flunking
Yeah.
the test.
Right. Right.
Damn, I'm right here again.
Right.
This
Right.
look really familiar.
Right.
Yeah.
The answer
Doing the
B.
same stuff. Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, I love it. So how do you remove yourself from a need-based relationship? And finding yourself in that need-based relationship, it can be challenging. So such relationships, just so you all know, it involves dependency, imbalance, and unmet emotional needs. I'm going to say that one more time. Dependency, imbalance, and unmet emotional needs. So if you're noticing, I know I struck a chord with somebody there.
Oh yeah.
Maybe sitting next to her, next to him. Don't look at him. Don't look at him.
Right.
But and it can be dissatisfying for both parties. And if you recognize that issue, the first step is just create a healthier, as everyone has shared here, more balanced relationship, and that healthier, more balanced relationship starts within, with
Yes.
yourself.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
And one of my last podcasts, I had a therapist on, and she said once you do the work on yourself, once you put yourself first, put your mask on first and everything, by default, you will create healthier relationships because the weeds can grow
That's
Yeah.
right.
Right.
in
Yeah.
that atmosphere. So
Yeah.
foster those healthier landscapes within yourself, and then all else will just go by the wayside.
Because
Right?
the truth shall set you
Shall
free.
set you
Yes,
free.
yes,
Shall set you
absolutely.
free.
Yeah.
And therapy, self-love, take a time, set boundaries, take time for yourself. Clear off your schedule. Some of us are just in things we meant to break up, but we so busy.
Yeah.
We got a trip planned, so I'll break up with him after New Year's. And, you know, oh my God, then my my parents' 50th anniversary, so we going there in February. And it just
Right.
drag on. Clear your schedule out, boo.
Yes.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
do the things that
Yes.
you know need to be done so you can be the best version of yourself,
Yeah.
singly, by yourself, and then in a relationship.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
The world needs you,
100%
your
agree.
family, your friends, your kids, your nieces, your nephews, and you need you. So
That's right.
just do the work. We're here for you. I hope this has been a helpful conversation for you.
Yes.
I hope the topics and the suggestions will convince you to subscribe to The Block, take up residency here. Yes, until next time, I'm your girl, your host, and favorite author, F.M. Ellis. Best of life to you all.
Yay.
Right.